exploring lakes, rivers, and reservoirs across the country with an unyielding goal to enlighten viewers from a fisheye perspective. Come along and we'll investigate the habitat. Much more than a fishing show, this is an eye-opening aquatic experience. Welcome to Kim Stricker's Hook and Look. In clear water, bass feed primarily by sight. Conversely, as water clarity diminishes, the sense of sound becomes more vital. And this week, the racket will draw some attention from the big girls. The aggression is visibly evident as Kim and his guest, Josh Rennebaum, validate a topwater pattern, then further reveal that for the bass in Lake Murray, well, it's a hard knock life. Saluda Dam, officially designated as Dreyer Shoals Dam, was an engineering feat at the time of its construction and was the largest earthen dam in the world when it was completed in 1930, as was the water body it impounded, South Carolina's Lake Murray. Covering approximately 50,000 acres with roughly 500 miles of shoreline, Lake Murray has become a popular recreational attraction in addition to serving as a source of hydroelectric power for the region. Today, Kim is accompanied by a young friend, Josh Rennebaum, a University of South Carolina graduate and registered nurse. Josh is furthermore an avid angler who basically cut his teeth bass fishing on Lake Murray. So, on this sweltering September afternoon, their focus is not to fish, but rather to collect information while capturing underwater footage with an AquaView HD7 iPro camera. Kim appreciates the fact that a good bit of data can be obtained and documented in regard to the habitat and inhabitants by dropping a camera to the lake bottom, especially when the water clarity is compromised to the point where scuba diving isn't an option. Therefore, throughout today's program, he'll share his underwater observations. But first, he and Josh begin their angling endeavors the following morning, walking a Strike King Sexy Dawg hard knock along the shoreline.
Start us off, Josh. One fish at a time. There's one. There's a starter.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, well, that ain't a bad fish either.
Oh, man.
I like it. I like it. Oh, come on up here. That's a nice
Oh,
fish.
he choked it, too.
Oh, that is a nice fish. How about a net job?
I'm telling you.
Look at that fish. Look at that fish. Look how he spit out a crayfish.
That's why you go shallow.
Josh said we wouldn't get many bites shallow, but if we did, they would likely be the biggest ones. Honestly, I wasn't quite prepared to start the day with a fish like that, but look how that pig engulfed that hard knock. Right down. Do you have pliers? Hand me those pliers.
Yeah.
But look at that fish, man, I'm telling you. What a way to start the day. These hooks are so sharp.
He's been eating crawdads, too.
Yeah, look at that.
Like. Spit that guy up in the net.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. Look at that beautiful, beautiful bass to start the day off. And we're gonna let you go right now. But yeah, I mean, we fished a long bank and we finally got a blow up. I mean, this is just your kind of a pre-thing, right?
That's a bonus fish there.
That's right.
We went shallow to try and get a big bite. And,
yeah.
you know, you might only get 1 or 2 blow-ups in the morning, but that there's worth it, every bit of it. Man, that was a good one bite.
Give me a little deedly-dee. Those are deedly-dees.
Little peck the bird seed.
Yeah. How'd you go?
Yeah.
my granddaughters, and I call them deedly-dees.
Coming up, the focus shifts offshore. We'll be right back. Hook and Look is brought to you by Strike King Lure Company, #1 in fishing lures. Lose, feel the difference. Power Pole, swift, silent, secure. Seagar, trust Seagar when everything is on the line. And by AquaView, reinventing underwater cameras.
It's a well-known fact that bass are attracted to sound. In fact, on more than one occasion, we've documented underwater, while trying to do some strike shots, how the bass will hear the bait before we do, and they'll immediately look that way. And that's why lure companies like Strike King add rattles to their bait. This is the original Sexy Dawg. That's how it sounds. It's a nice rattle. Well, this year, what we're using today is the Sexy Dawg Hard Knock. It's the same profile bait, same beautiful action, but listen to this, with a much harder knock as compared to the rattles. So it's a more dominating sound, and it draws those fish up. Right there, right there.
Yep.
Come on, baby, come on.
Single. Oh, there's more than one right there.
Come on, come on. There he is, got him, got him.
Big and
Good one, good one, good one. Good one. Oh, I'm loving it. Eventually you get one of those good ones. That's a nice fish.
Looky there.
Oh, man. Nice fish. You fish hard for them. Oh, come on here. Oh, get up here. Another nice one. Yes.
That's adversity there.
I saw that little bait fish movement on the surface. I mean, we were about to give up. I mean, the bite died down, the wind died down, and it never really came on. But look at that beautiful fish. So I mean, I just saw that little on the surface, threw to it. He smashed and missed it, and then he ate it big time. That is so cool. Now you've got cane piles out here, correct?
We're on a spot with actually 3 of them, and we were just right pretty much in between them all. I think we might have pushed some bait up. One came up and showed itself and came through in there and hit him on the head. Perfect cast and perfect bite. That was awesome.
And we'll take an AquaView camera and explore these cane piles. The clarity isn't good enough for me to scuba dive, but the AquaView does such a great job in this, slightly off-colored water. But nice fish. I love those blow-ups.
You beat it.
Okay.
The cane piles are comprised of river cane, a woody perennial which flourishes in the floodplains throughout the southeast, and are strategically planted by enterprising local anglers on offshore points and shoals. Weighted with either cinder blocks or 5-gallon buckets filled with cement, the vertical structure is indeed a clever solution to drawing roaming bass. Since the introduction of blueback herring to Lake Murray, the bass fishing dynamic of the water body has changed drastically, and anglers have adjusted their focus towards schooling fish. The significant value of the cane pile is its height, which provides cover in the upper water column where these pelagic bass suspend throughout summer and fall. You'll notice that sealed plastic bottles have been secured near the top of the cane, which act as floats and help keep the pile upright and productive, as opposed to cane that has fallen horizontally and is resting on the lake bottom. Typically planted in 18 to 22 feet of water, good cane will tower 10 to 15 feet off the bottom. Wandering bass will then park over the cane piles and can be targeted much more easily by savvy fishermen. Locating these fish magnets takes some surveillance, yet is a worthwhile effort that can be achieved with modern electronics.
So we're out here on the main lake, right off of a point, in about 18 to 25 feet of water. Using our low rants and our side scan to find cane piles. You can use down scan as well, but with the side scan you can actually see stumps and shadows of the cane piles, 15, 20 feet to the right or left of the boat. So what we'll do, we'll ride over. If we see a cane pile which stands about 10 to 20 feet high, we'll put a waypoint on it, pull off of the cane pile, set up a line where we're throwing straight at it, and you basically just cast over the pile.
Stay tuned. Kim and Josh chase some shallow schoolers right after this. Welcome back to Hook and Look and Lake Murray. Kim and Josh have now moved towards the back of a creek. They spotted baitfish schooling activity here and quickly put the Sexy Dawg hard knock to work.
Here you go. It's a decent one?
Yeah. Better.
Got me one of them down. Get the net for you. It's hooked in my rod, but well, that's a little better.
It's a keeper.
Yeah. My bait's in the net too, and you got me retying. There you go.
I actually saw this fish bust right out there in the middle.
You did?
The pontoon went through and I think stirred up some bait.
Well, there's obviously some schoolers here. I mean, they kind of school by size, don't they?
So yeah, there's not much for quality in here. We're in the back of a creek. It's pretty much summertime. Water temp's 85, 86 degrees. So, but there's bait in here, so there's going to be fish in here. So,
cool.
Something to catch.
All right.
What
Cool.
this guy got here?
What followed next were several busts. However, they were, unfortunately, smaller fish. So the two decide to abandon the area, perhaps a little prematurely. As they idle away, Kim spots a lone fish break the surface directly ahead of the boat and jumps into action.
Come on. Right there.
As I'm sitting here eating Pringles.
Greg Bohannon did like that. That's his sponsor.
I think that was a gar, Kim.
You watch. And that's a little better fish, I think.
Not a bad one there.
Yes. Come on over here.
I'll take my life jacket off for you.
I don't have the trolling motor down. That's the deal. You see them break like that.
That's a better fish for
It is
back in here.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Seems to be the theme.
Maybe we should stay a little longer.
Kim catches the big ones.
Ooh, there we go. But that was, all we did was see that one little bloop. And you said it was a gar. Come on. Do that to the old man. But that's a little better for back in here. I mean, you caught that other one, and I like that. But that's the whole thing, is to see them come up, right? I mean, trying to call them up
hadn't been our deal, but
No,
when they show themselves to us, we seem to be.
That's the
you know,
deal.
if you put that Sexy Dawg on top of them, they can't stand it. So. A lot of times. Oh my!
You got him? Oh, you missed him. That was a good one.
That was a giant. That might have been a gar, actually. I don't know.
Oh, here we go.
There's no bass in here that big. That was a monster.
Well, it could have been a gar. We did see a few porpoising on the surface in the area, as well as up close and personal on the AquaView camera. But more importantly, we also observed bass cruising, and a number of them.
This is gonna be it right here, I'm calling it.
Yeah, that's a decent fish, man. That's a little better one. Get your net. See, there's some better fish in here than we think. That's a decent fish. Heck yeah.
Good deal.
Good dealio. Good dealio. That last bust was a giant bust, and that was no gar.
It was a gar. Come on,
no way.
I'm sticking with it. That was a gar.
No way. Yeah.
All right. So we drew that one up. You know, there's a bunch of fish in here chasing some shad, but this guy came up and blew up on it. I missed the bigger one, the cast prior, and I think it was a gar, but we're gonna stick with that.
Yeah.
Ended up catching a nice little 2.5 pounder. So.
Coming up, some underwater insight you won't want to miss. We'll be right back. This portion of Hook and Look is brought to you by Ranger Boats, still building legends one at a time. Evinrude, the only outboard that lets you have it all. The original Wacky Tool, your soft bait's best mate. Trick Step, because getting in and out of your trailered boat should be easy. And by Indian River, Michigan Tourist Bureau, pure waters, pure trails, pure north.
When Josh and I surveyed the lake structure the previous day, our research with the AquaView camera revealed a good bit of beneficial information. In addition to better understanding the configuration of the cane piles and how the bass relate to them, we picked up some eye-opening observations along the perimeter of the main lake points. From a depth of 13 to 20 feet, on selected points, we discovered rocky irregularities, where we found young-of-the-year bluegill relating to the boulders, as well as largemouth bass. Although Lake Murray now supports a pelagic forage base since the introduction of the blueback herring, it appeared that plenty of the bass aren't ignoring the bluegill. We documented that assessment again shallower. As we moved up the break, a carpet of unhealthy grass began to blanket the bottom at a depth of 12 feet. And although the vegetation appeared to be stricken following aquatic weed control, the young-of-the-year bluegill still inhabited the area, seeking refuge within the remnants. So it should come to no surprise that we found a group of bass drawn to the same area as well. Until that moment, Josh wasn't very confident around the sick-looking vegetation. Nevertheless, seeing is believing, and he quickly questioned his previous assessment. Perhaps a bottom-bouncing presentation of some sort could have triggered those fish. However, we were running short of time, and Josh still wanted to survey a large piece of structure in another creek. Once in the vicinity, we side-scanned the area to locate the structure, which you can see on the right side of the screen. Then deployed the AquaView camera on what appeared to be either a dilapidated dock or a boat of some sort. Regardless, there was a ton of broken timber piled up here, offering a great deal of cover, and upon further investigation, the AquaView revealed that there was one heck of a school of crappie utilizing the structure. Unfortunately, Josh had to report to his afternoon shift at the hospital, so I dropped him off at the dock, but for my own curiosity, I decided to revisit that structure on my own. Tossed out a buoy, tied on a Mr. Crappie scissor shad, and dropped it to the structure just to see what would happen. Crappie fishing. Little added bonus here at Lake Murray. There we go. Ooh, Slab City. Oh, on the scissor shad, right on top of that It's a sunken boat or a sunken dock, or it's a lot of wood. Well, I believe you might put that in a live well. This is a perfect example of the value of utilizing both electronic devices. Locate the structure using side scan, but then precisely identify the species utilizing the structure with the AquaView, ultimately presenting the appropriate lure to capitalize on the opportunity available. Yeah, it's all down here. It's not a small area. Here we go. There we go. Ooh, there's a nice one. There's more than just bass fishing here at Lake Murray. So if the bass fishing's slow, you know, you can fill a live well full of crappie. Just gotta locate the spots, and I'm doing it with my Lowrance and that AquaView, and with some help from my friend Josh, and I thank him for that. Lake Murray has always been a fun lake. Be sure to tune in again next week when my buddy Brian Plensler and I once again enjoy the autumn color and late fall largemouth. Until then,
Hook and look.
Hook and Look is a Kim Stricker production.